breaking news.
Welcome back to another episode of Lakeshow's Finest Redux. I'm your host, Charles Ryan. KB24 status. This is instant reaction. What a strange night for the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, it started up pretty chill. Got a little Wesley Matthews in the vibe, you know, and then I find out Wesley Matthews is only $3 million, so that's a steal. I don't know what the Bucks were paying him last year, but it might have been over $3 million. If not, it's not. But Wes Matthews shot 40%, 40 in the playoffs last year when it mattered in 10 games. 10 games, and I believe he started all 10. And of course, they would have gone farther, most likely, if Giannis didn't get hurt. Most likely, maybe not. And maybe they would have played us in the finals. Who knows? But 10 games, 10 games. Wes Matthews is a little bit older. He's 34, but I like it. Got that three-point shooting around us. And then there was Dwight Howard, right? And Dwight tweets, you know, I'm back in LA. I love you guys. And then 360, he goes to the 76ers. And I'm thinking from there, okay, well, what happened? It turns out that the Lakers didn't make a formal offer to him. This is more just like informal litigation, just throwing stuff out there. And then all the things I'm reading on Twitter, because I don't like Twitter that much. I only use Twitter to follow Lakers players and maybe a couple Lakers reporters like Mike Trudell and like Ramona Shelburne. And then I obviously follow Woj. And I also follow this guy named Bobby Marks, who's like a cap guy. Knows about the salary cap really well, and I like the numbers and stuff. But he was saying that, Bobby Marks especially was saying, it looks like the Lakers are targeting Marc Gasol. And I was like thinking, well, he's a little bit older, you know, he's like 34, 35, but he can stretch he can stretch the 3-point line, obviously, and he'll get way more open looks than he ever has before. And, you know, his brother came here and the Lakers drafted him and then traded him. That'd be kind of a nice little story. But, you know, he's 35, so we're going from Dwight, who's like 32, 33, whatever, to, you know, Marc Gasol. And then it comes out, baby. And you know what I'm about to say. That Montrezl Harrell thing just hit me, and I was like, oh, my God. He's a legend. Guys, we got 2 of the 3 finalists for 6th Man of the Year. Schroeder and Harrell, who obviously won it. The third guy, Lou Williams, we had that guy, and we said goodbye. So, man, I'm so happy about this. Prior to signing these 2 guys, Montrez and Wes, that's all we did tonight, actually. That's all we did, just Montrez and Wes. But prior to that, we only had 6 players under contract. 6. They are, prior to Wes and Montrez, they were LeBron, Caruso, JaVale, Schroeder, Kuzma, and Taylor Horton Tucker. That's it, right? You know, 80 free agents. So that's 6 guys. You add Montrez, you add Wes, you throw in AD, you assume we're bringing back KCP, we have his bird rights, you assume we're bringing back Avery Bradley, because I don't know who the hell else is going to give Avery Bradley more money than what we were going to give him, which was about $5-6 million, because he didn't prove himself by opting not to play and be with his family. So that's about 11 guys right there. LeBron, AD, Caruso, JaVale, THT, Schroeder, Kuzma, Montrez, Wes, KCP, Avery. So here's, I'm going to go through the depth chart, the 11 guys on the depth chart. It's 11. 11's 11, guys. In the playoffs, we went like 8-9 deep. So it looks like there's going to be a toss-up for the shooting guard role. Everyone's shooters. Avery can shoot. You know, Wes can shoot. KCP can shoot. Schroeder can definitely shoot. He was like 41% from 3 this year. Montrez can stretch it out a little bit, but we don't need Montrez for that. We want Montrez for defense, baby. Got some defense going. But here's the depth chart right now, and this is in no particular order. I will talk about the starting, in my mind, the starting lineups, and in my mind, the bench. So the 2 point guards we have, who are literally point guards. LeBron is, of course, a point guard. He led the league in scoring, but, he's about a small forward. He led the league in assists, but he's a small forward. The 2 point guards are Alex Caruso, Dennis Schroeder. Shooting guards, KCP, Avery Bradley, Taylor Horton Tucker. Small forwards, LeBron James, Wes Matthews. Power forward, AD, Kuzma. Center, Montrezl Harrell, and JaVale McGee. Those are 11 guys. That's the depth chart as of now. Once again, assuming we get KCP and Avery, which I really think we should, because they both play defense, they both can shoot, and they know LeBron, they know the system. But there's a lot of things to hit on here. First of all, this is our core. We have a 5-piece core: LeBron, AD, Schroeder, Montrez, and Kuz. That's our 5-piece core. All right. And what's nice is off the bench, you can have Schroeder and Montrez and Kuz just doing their thing, man. And, you put AD in there with one or LeBron in there with one. See, it was nice for Lou Williams and Montrez to have that little connection. They had one of the most, besides LeBron and AD, Montrez and Lou Williams had one of the highest pick-and-roll assist rates. And probably the highest off the bench in the league. Actually, I know for a fact they had the highest off the bench in the league for 2 bench players. And that's going to change, right? You have LeBron James instead of Lou Will. And Lou Williams, 6'1", all right? You're gonna get up more. You're going to get up. So I love this a lot. So the starters are kind of tricky here. Because you can say, Avery started last year, then KCP took over his role, and then we had KCP starting and no center in. We had no JaVale or Dwight in the playoffs, and we put in Caruso or Markieff Morris, right? But we'll get to Markieff Morris in a second and other players that I think we should go after. But I think we should stick with the Caruso thing. I think Caruso and LeBron, they have one of the best plus-minus combos in the league. The very brief amount of time they've been on the court together. I think it should be LeBron James, Avery Bradley, Alex Caruso, Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee. That's pretty good. That's a lot of defense. Avery, great defender. Caruso, scrappy defender. JaVale, when he wants to be, pretty good defender, getting blocks. AD, of course, probably should have been defensive player of the year. And then got LeBron. And then off the bench, Dennis Schroeder at point guard, KCP at shooting guard, Wes Matthews at small forward, Kyle Kuzma at the 4, and Montrez at the 5. All 4 of those 5 players can really shoot threes, okay? Montrez can't. But Schroeder, KCP, Wes, and Kuz can really shoot 3. The weakest link there is Kyle Kuzma. But Kyle Kuzma has had stints in his career over the last 3 years. And we'll get to Kuzma in a second also, where he could flat out shoot. And he'll get back there. But Schroeder, 41%. KCP, 41% in the playoffs. Wes Matthews, 40% in the playoffs. Incredible, all right? The only got people that can't shoot threes on the team is JaVale McGee, Montrezl Harrell, and I guess if you want to say Caruso, you can say Caruso. But those 11 guys that I said, most of them are specialists. LeBron's a specialist, even though he doesn't shoot that great from 3. He is, when he wants to be, he can hit 4 or 5 in a row, man. So yeah, that is the 10-player projected starters and bench. I didn't want to put Taylor Horton Tucker on there because that guy's going to be the G League guy forever, right, for the next year or two. So prior to this, the 6 players, we had about $71 million committed, right? You throw in Anthony Davis's 25 to 30, bam, you're at 101, 195, whatever. The cap is 110, 112, I believe. So that leaves $12 million in space. You just sign Montrezl Harrell $9 million for his first year, and then you sign Wes Matthews a 3.6. Bam, that's it. Capped off. Done. We're hard capped because we gave Montrezl Harrell a mid-level exception. Not the tax player mid-level exception, the normal mid-level exception, which was created when we got rid of Quinn Cook. But the problem is we could have given 4 years, a 4-year mid-level exception, full mid-level exception for about $40 million. Instead, we only did 2. And, the second year for Montrez, it's a 2-year, $19 million. I'm sure you guys know that. The second year for Montrez is a player option, and I think he'll opt out of that. There's no question. Unless Montrez plays awful in, the way he did in the playoffs, then, yeah, he's opting out. And what's nice is a lot of this roster is 1 year, besides. Pretty much it'll be just AD. I mean, so we're really on a year-by-year basis, pretty much. But yeah, I don't think Montrezl Harrell will be bad like he was in the playoffs. It's tough, man. That was tough. And I know the Clippers had problems, but it was really hard for Paul George mentally to hold together. And imagine Montrezl Harrell, man, losing his grandmother, coming back, he wasn't in shape. I remember there's this great play in the first round or second round of the playoffs or maybe it was his first game back, Montrez's first game back in the bubble, when Doc literally after timeout literally started fake running. He's saying, Montrez, you got to start running, man, because he was winded, he was out of shape. So I think he'll be fine, and I think he'll be great. And I was reading on Twitter, because I don't read people's Twitter. What I was looking at was what was just tweeted about it, and then the first response that you just see was this guy saying, in the playoffs, the Clippers were terrible with Montrez on the court, and they were much better with Marcus Morris, who just got a 4-year, $64 million deal, which makes absolutely no sense. They should have committed that to Montrez. 4 years for 64 for Marcus Morris is insane. He's worth probably 4 years, 20. Really not that good of a player at all. But what that guy was saying was just about the playoffs. What about the regular season? What about when he was in shape and he didn't have 4 months off coming to a bubble that no NBA player in the history of the league has ever experienced? That's a small sample size, what that guy was saying. He's going to be great. And, of course, it's obvious to say it, but it makes it just that much easier that he doesn't have to move. His kid, I don't know if he has kids, but, he can just stay in the same position, have the same friends, same everything, be chilled the fuck out. That's great. Excuse my language. So we have 3 shooting guards. Every position right now has 2. 2 point guards, 2 small forwards, 2 power forwards, 2 centers. So the centers, Montrezl Harrell, once again, power forward, AD Kuz, all 4 LeBron West. Point guard, Caruso Schroeder, but the shooting guard has an extra, which is Taylor Horton Tucker, which doesn't count. So you can distribute these 4 players however you want. So the Lakers technically have 3 centers, AD, Montrez, and JaVale. So I think they should go after Markieff Morris again. I know that'll be having a 5th center for this power forward, but that's fine. And I think, that's the thing. I don't know Markieff will get more elsewhere, because Markieff, I'm recording this the night of free agency, 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. If somebody wanted Markieff Morris for $5 million, 2 years, $20 million, 2 years, $10 million, it would be done already, because there's no competition. So I think he's coming back. And then we also got to figure out, like I said with Kuzma, what's the deal with Kuzma? Are we giving him an extension? What are we doing with Kuzma? This is very important. And I'm going to go out on a limb and just say it. We should just give him the extension, man. Give him the 5 years. 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. 4 years, $80 million, 4 years, $60 million. Whatever we want to give him, just give it to him. He's obviously not going to get a max. But I'm thinking 4 years, 60, 4 years. I don't know. This is the worst Kyle Kuzma's ever going to be in his career. And that's still pretty good. He averaged 13, 14 points a game. And I did the recap about him. It makes sense, obviously, that his production went down, his uses went down. But in the playoffs, man, I thought he was really good cutting. He contributed in other ways. And he's only 25 right now, 24, 25. And giving him that 4 years plus the next year, which is part of the rookie contract, will lead him through 30 years old, through the beginning and middle of his prime, which is great. So I think I should give it to him. But yeah, as of right now, we have no long-term contracts at all. At all. When AD signs his 2 or 3 years, there you go. We have the only long-term is Kuzma's second year, which is a qualifying offer, which isn't exactly a year. It doesn't really count. But it's just LeBron's contract after next year, which is a player option. So who knows what will happen there. I imagine he'll opt out. But another interesting thing I've noticed is a lot of players opting out, not because they think they'll get more money, but I think they want longevity and security. And that makes sense. You're in the middle of a pandemic. You don't know what's going to happen. Of course, there are vaccines on the way, but you don't know. And it'd be so much nicer to have a Mookie Betts contract, $10 million for whatever, $300 million. 10 years, $300 million. So for Avery Bradley having 3 years, 15, 3 years, 10, versus just picking up a 1 year, $4 million or $5 million. So, yeah. The Hayward thing, opting out of $35 million, that's what I was thinking there. I don't think the situation, the coach and him, Brad Stevens were really good friends, but he's so injury prone that rather than taking 1 year 35 and risking something happening, maybe he'll take a 4 year 35, 4 year 45, 4 year 50. Because who knows, man? And everything's guaranteed. When NFL players get mad about NBA contracts, I get it. Because a lot of those aren't guaranteed. If you get hurt, non-guaranteed, you're out. Steph Curry broke his leg, man. LeBron broke his arm. Kyle Kuzma tore his Achilles. Guess what? He gets paid every single minute that he's injured. LeBron James probably makes, $100,000 a quarter in the league. Maybe $25,000 every 3 minutes or something in a quarter. I don't know. But he gets paid for being hurt. And Hayward doesn't want to be hurt in 1 year and that would not work out. So, interesting to see. Once again, the KCP thing, I don't get that, man. He owes us big time. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I love this. I love what Rob Lowe did. He came through big time. It's great. The 2 years, $19 million for Montrez is great. The Lakers are a hard cap, like I said, with the mid-level. But if Montrez opts out, then I don't believe they are hard cap. I think they're just hard cap for this year. I'm pretty sure about that. So I gotta love it. We turned. It's crazy. Rondo. It's clear. I don't think Rondo's gonna be back. I think Rondo's going to the Clippers. If Rondo comes back, that'd be great. But you have a freaking log jam at point guard. With Caruso, Schroeder, Rondo, and LeBron. But yeah, he's not going to be back, Rondo. And so you basically turn Rajon Rondo, who's really good. He's good, right? He's champion, but he's older. You turn Rondo, Danny Green, and Dwight Howard into Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder. Montrezl Harrell, Sixth Man of the Year. Dwight Howard, what? Being a 10-minute-a-game guy, backing up Joel Embiid, veterans minimum. So, we improved. I love it. I can't wait for the season to start. And it's incredible. A lot of this is self-evident stuff I'm saying right here, but it's just amazing how we had no sports for that long, and now we're getting it in waves. And the preseason is December 10th. That's 3 weeks. And I think LeBron will rest, but I think LeBron will rest a little bit better knowing you got Dennis Schroeder handling the ball and Montrezl Harrell right there while he's on the bench resting, for sure. But yeah, just you have so many shooters, and I just really think if you can bring back Markieff Morris doesn't get a lot of playing time. He really isn't. You got Montrez, JaVale, Kuzma, AD. But through those 10, 15 minutes, maybe he'll come in for 25 minutes based on the matchups. Versus the Rockets, he was playing a lot. He started, I believe, versus the Rockets, Markieff Morris. He can shoot. And shooters are important in this league, obviously. But we got those guys. And we did a great job. Rob Lowe deserves so much credit. Man, throw this guy a parade. He should be GM of the year next year if the Lakers go to the freaking finals again and win it all. I mean, this guy is just tearing it up. Tearing it up. All right. Once again, I'm Charles Ryan. KB24 status. The biggest Lakers fan in the world. Thanks for listening. Please check out my other videos. I worked really hard on them. This 4K room video I did, I don't really work hard on it. I worked hard on my room. I don't work hard on filming it. But like the Kobe montage I did the other day called Rising Tide, that was a lot of effort. And I maybe it doesn't seem like it because it's only like 3 or 4 minutes long for those that watched it. But I think it's really good, and I hope you guys watched it. And the name of the channel is KB24 status. So if you subscribe, I assume you like Kobe, and if not, it might be for the Call of Duty stuff, because I used to post Call of Duty videos like 7 years ago, and I posted a couple over the last, like, I don't know, few months. But check that stuff out. I worked really hard. I hope you guys like it. Please subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, put them in the comments, even though I probably won't get those. All right, take care, peace, and go Lakers. Probably talk to you guys fairly soon. Bye.